The National Weather Service was out here Monday morning assessing the damage. We won't know how severe that tornado was for a couple more days now, but just to show you how strong those winds were, here's one of many trucks completely flipped over.
Now, when we were in this room today, you actually spoke out and said, give Mr. Davis the time to express the reason why we are here with this, which is the ethics violation complaint that was essentially leaked by someone. And do you feel that what happened was fully expressed today?
He says that he wants to push for higher wages for educators, invest in programs for elementary and collegiate students, along with the lottery, using that money to go towards education.
So let me get you updated. Tuskegee University faced a mass shooting early this morning around 1 o'clock in the morning. One person is dead. It's an 18-year-old that did not attend the university. 16 people were injured.
Families in the County Downs neighborhood in Montgomery are concerned tonight, scared for their families after a second shooting within 1 month occurred last night. Behind me, we've got crews working all around the town of Georgiana, just like this, trying to clear the streets. You see a pile of debris right over there. I talked to the mayor, I talked to the EMA director and the sheriff. They said there's a lot of good to report.
We currently have 300 big and small businesses just in this field. 103 of them are currently working with the Artemis Project to get men and women back up on the moon.
Yeah.
It's currently 45 degrees outside, 13 degrees away from freezing temperatures. That's when warming centers open, especially with tonight seeing 26 degrees around 4 a.m. We've got the parking lot full, people across the street just trying to find a spot to cast their vote. It's looking just like down in Autauga County, where their probate office says they're seeing consistent lines at their voting polls, even those rural locations. Children enrolled in the daycare behind me received this letter saying that they would be closing in May due to staffing shortages and financial issues. Flames still remain from a house fire that happened early Sunday morning. People who live on the street and family that I spoke to say the family that lived in this home was the glue to the community.
It's the day where that 365-day hatred comes down to one game. Who will get the bragging rights? Yes, there's the game. Yes, there's fans. Yes, there's tailgating. But there's the merch. Alabama shirts. And then they have Auburn shirts. So these shirts are not going to be used this year.
Amy Dix, mother of one, sister of four, and friend to many, says her life was filled with love and adventure.
She loved to go and do and be with friends. She was always hardworking. She worked from the time she was 16.
That on-the-go life looks different now after what happened one Friday afternoon. Do you remember that day?
I remember everything of that day, every minute, every second.
She was driving to a Montgomery car dealership. Her husband needed work done on his truck.
I drove to Atlanta Highway. I was at the red light at Red Lobster, and I heard gunshots, but at the time, I couldn't tell if it was fireworks. Like, it really just kind of caught me off guard.
She says she ducked for cover, and when it got quiet, she thought it was over.
And when I sat up in my car, a bullet came through my driver's side window and hit me right here in the arm. At that moment, it was very movie-like. It was very slow motion. I knew I was gonna die. And the first thing I did was pray. And I said, "Dear Heavenly Father, forgive me for the sins I've said and done, and accept me into the gates of heaven."
But it wasn't her time. She gathered enough energy to call her husband and then her mom.
She said, "Mom, I've been shot." And I said, "Who is this, Amy?" It just took me back, and she said yes, and then I could hear the police.
From there, the next thing Amy remembers was waking up in the hospital. She was paralyzed.
Woke up and they told me, I think I already knew. It was just a feeling that I had, and that I knew I wasn't gonna have the use of my legs and I would never walk.
From that moment, Amy tells me she feels many emotions: grateful, sad, and mad. Tonight at 10, I'll show you how she's doing 5 months later and how she feels about the 5 suspects charged in this shooting
not being behind bars.
Sugar has got shot and he's laying here on the ground, unresponsive.
A life taken too soon. An 18-year-old with a future planned, ready to start a new job with the state alongside his father. Latavion Johnson grew up right here in Troy, graduate from Charles Henderson High School. His friends and family say a very lively soul.
He was a loving person. I like to pick at him in the life he had.
The family at a loss for words after his sudden death in a shooting at Tuskegee University. And the death of Latavion's sister, who died in the last year, leaving behind a son. Family members say Latavion had been helping take care of his nephew.
So being here again, seeing them mourn, it hurts me.
But what the family does know is they won't stop until justice is served and the guns are put down.
Throughout this state of Alabama, they got to do something. They got to definitely do something. Because if it don't, we all don't fade away. If I can just touch one person hard and stop the gun violence, it'll be okay. It really hurts. It really hurts. You're missing your child all because somebody want to shoot.
In Pike County, I'm Julia Avant.
From being the commissioner of that department to the biggest fan.
After more than 5 years on the job as Alabama's Veteran Affairs Commissioner, Admiral Kent Davis is coming to terms with his departure, despite the fact he says there's more work left to be done.
And we have things like 2 major federal inspections coming up of our cemetery and our brand new state veterans home that are built into those plans before December 31st. And our federal funding is contingent on those inspections.
During a specially called meeting on the state's VA board, Davis received widespread praise from board members who voted for a second time that they had confidence in his leadership, to veterans who had traveled to Montgomery from around the state.
Commissioner Davis has, been the best commissioner we've had in recent memory. I mean, I'm talking the last 20 or 30 years, and why would she ask probably the only bureaucrat in Montgomery who's effective and actually praised by his constituents.
But just minutes after that meeting, Governor Kay Ivey announced she would remove Davis from his post.
The governor called this meeting. She didn't even have the decency to show up herself to preside at it. The votes didn't go her way, and it made her mad. And when the governor gets mad, she gets even, and she has gotten even with this.
The governor has said in the past Davis mishandled federal grant money and filed a frivolous ethics complaint. Accusations Davis denies. His attorney says it's that ethics complaint that upsets Ivey the most.
He was duty bound. The commissioner had board members, multiple board members come to him, say they thought there were irregularities in the Department of Mental Health and the way the ARPA funds were handled.
The governor has since appointed a new VA commissioner. After serving as assistant commissioner for operations and chief of staff, Jeffrey L. Newton will now move into the top job as an interim basis.
Yes, and today, Val, the city did demolish whatever was left of the building, the vacant building behind me. Councilman C.C. Calhoun says he has yet to look at the report if any bodies were found, whatever remained in that building. However, I spoke to a contractor who lives in the area. He said that this building caused a lot of problems, from theft to even murder. But C.C. Calhoun says it's going to take a community effort to find compromise for all.
On a daily basis, when we ride by, we see homeless, we see people here, and we know we have squatters at that location. So, yes, it's homeless people living up in there, or just people might need to be homeless as they're standing there because of the illegal activity that goes on.
The building the city has been trying to demolish has affected properties surrounding it.
They stole a GPS system of ours. It was like $40,000. They stole my kid's bike, my wife's bike. What everybody says, there was 4 or 5 people that were killed in there. That there was like the...
Who said that?
Oh, it's just like everybody that's been in there.
Executive Director of the Mid-Alabama Coalition for the Homeless says vacant buildings are the only place for homeless people to go when shelters aren't available.
They're just trying to meet a need. and sometimes an accident may occur.
Something that Councilman Andrew Zemansky says he has witnessed in his district.
What was so sad about that is that there really wasn't a good answer for where those people could go at that time. There were children there, adults and dogs.
Both Mann and Zemansky says the answer lies within warming centers.
There's a severe gap in services for shelters, especially after the Salvation Army closed.
And right now, we're not seeing a decrease in the number of people that are in our city that need our help. And so it's definitely something that I see and definitely something that I think we need to respond to.
Mann calls on Montgomery to do more, much like other metro areas in Alabama.
Big thing that the city could do is to, create a line item in their budget. I mean, we are the designated HUD, continuum of care in that area.
However, Councilman Calhoun says that the city is doing everything that they can, and they're calling on the community, between businesses to organizations that are in the area. There have been situations where the city and the Salvation Army have found an area to develop. However, the businesses and community members in that area did not welcome them. It's going to take a community effort.
I don't give myself any expiration dates on anything.
After retiring from her job at JCPenney, Andreline Day felt she had more life to live and learn.
I think I would like to do something geared more to my peers.
She was thinking of getting a psychology degree.
I can't afford to go to school.
After high school, Day was enrolled at ASU, but couldn't afford to finish. So after all these years, her sons stepped in.
He said, well, Mom, I'm not going to give you a Christmas present. I'm not going to give you a birthday present, which is in January. He said, how about if I send you back to school?
For the past 4 years, Day earned her degree right from her bedroom. She admits she loved learning, but like so many students, had her troubles with earning a degree from a desktop.
I love to read. That's not a problem. I'll do the assignment. But now, I'm supposed to put it in this computer. How the hell am I supposed to do that?
Day gave up for just one day.
Seeing that fear of failure that kicked in, and I must do this for myself because this is the last opportunity I'm going to have to do this.
Fast forward to now, she's walking across the stage accepting her diploma from Troy University. She hopes her story will encourage those who don't see the light at the end of the tunnel or fear their time is running out.
Life is probably there because I am closer to the end, than the life I left behind. And I've got to grab as much of it as I possibly can while I can.
Over a decade, young adults in Montgomery with special needs have been able to receive real-life experience while working at Baptist South.
We want to make sure that they've got the educational background that they need, the soft skill employment background information that they need to have to be able to go forth and be successful in obtaining greater independence and employment.
Every 10 weeks during the program, students work in a different department, whether that be cleaning the hospital or assisting in the respiratory department. All of them say they are honored to do the work that they do.
I have never in my life have been working inside a hospital before, never. I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of myself. And I'm just thanking God.
We don't play around. We do what we got to do to make our parents proud and our others' parents proud and our grandparents.
Precious McCorkle is a great example of the power of this program. Instructors say this program revealed the true Precious.
She's pretty shy and withdrawn, or she was when she came to us, and now she's like the auntie of the group, and she talks to everybody. She knows everybody's business.
She especially bonded with her mentor, Juan Harding, who started off in this program 4 years ago and has now been hired by Baptist South.
He made good advice to make me real feel better, because I did lost some people in my life. It been hard. Only thing I remember